world is constantly evolving into a knowledge-based economy where skills and competencies constitute the lifeblood of public and corporate governance. You therefore need to empower yourself to fit into this new world by gaining basic knowledge and improving your skill set in the governance-focused disciplines. That is why every aspiring as well as practicing professional in governance field needs ICSAN.
ICSAN. What is ICSAN?
ICSAN is a leading statutorily established professional body dedicated to enhancing the status and practice of corporate governance and public administration. ICSAN members are trained as chartered secretaries and administrators.
Who are chartered secretaries and administrators?
Chartered secretaries are high-ranking governance professionals with a broad base of skills, unique amongst other professions. They are trained in law, finance, accounting, administration, strategy development, and corporate governance. In today's world, chartered secretaries and administrators discharge a wide range of duties and responsibilities, including functioning as chairmen of companies, executive directors, non-executive directors, company secretaries, risk managers, compliance managers, board evaluators, and corporate governance evaluators.
That is interesting. How then do I become a chartered secretary and administrator?
Good. Go to the Institute's website, www.icsan.org. You can also visit the National Secretariat of ICSAN at Plot 6, Elephant Cement Way, Alausa, Ikeja, Lagos, to get full information on how to become members. ICSAN, the hub of governance professionals.
All right, ICSAN, definitely the hub of governance professionals. Okay, this morning, of course, we'll welcome you to Corporate Governance Platform, brought to you by the Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria, ICSAN. And today, we're looking at roles and functions of the company secretary in corporate governance. Roles and functions of the company secretary in corporate governance. Our guest this morning is Miss AKUDAZIE NDUGBU, ACIS. She's a company secretary, Hivo Systems Nigeria Limited. Good morning, Miss NDUGBU.
Good morning.
All right, thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here.
All right, and in like manner, I have in the studio Mr. Kade Ketefe, FCIS. He's head of research, ICSAN. Good morning, Mr. Ketefe.
Good morning, Fumi. Good morning to you, our guests, Miss AKUDAZIE NDUGBU, ACIS, and all our listeners. Good morning to you.
All right. Of course, moving on into the discourse for the day, we're looking at roles and functions of the company secretary in corporate governance. Now, Ms. NDUGBU, what roles does a company secretary normally play in an organization?
Well, the company secretary plays a major role in the governance and administration of an organization. But specifically, the provisions of Section 335 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act provides that the company secretary should attend the meetings of the company, the meetings of the board of directors and the board committees, advising on the applicable rules and regulations at such meetings, maintain registers and other records required by law, render property returns as and when due to the Corporate Affairs Commission, and also carry out such other responsibilities, administrative and secretarial duties as directed by the director or the company. And of course, the secretary is not expected without the authority of the board to exercise any of the powers vested in the directors of the company.
All right. Now, what are some of the roles stipulated for the company secretary under the code?
Principle 8 of the Nigerian Code of Corporate Governance 2018 imposes additional responsibility on the company secretary. And the company secretary is expected to play a vital role in supporting the board to ensure effectiveness in their functions and also to develop good corporate governance practice and culture within the company. The company secretary has both functional and administrative roles. The functional roles are to the board through the chairman, while the administrative role is to the management through the managing director of the company. Also, the company secretary is expected to provide the board and directors individually with support to ensure that they discharge their responsibility properly, coordinate the induction and training of new directors, assist the MD and the chairman in the annual board plan and other issues at board level, notify board members of upcoming meetings, timely manner, and also prepare the document, board papers, and other documents that will be utilized at such meeting. The company secretary is basically a central source of guidance and advice to the board and management on issues of corporate governance, ethics, and conflicts of interest.
All right. Now, why is the company secretary often referred to as the sounding board on corporate governance?
Yes, a sounding board provides advice on issues presented to him or her person, to advise on the legality or otherwise of such matters. Now, the company secretary is the officer of the company who guides the company, the board, the company, and the management in every aspect of their functions to ensure that they adhere to good governance practice in their conduct, and also to ensure that there's regulatory compliance. So, indeed, the company secretary is a sounding board on corporate governance.
All right. Now, the code says that a company secretary should be a person with relevant qualifications and competence necessary to effectively discharge the duties of his office. Now, what are the qualifications being referred to here?
Yes, Section 332 provides that the company secretary, especially in the case of a public company, should be a member of the Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators, a legal practitioner, a member of a professional body of accountants established by law, and any person that has held the position of the company secretary of a public company in the last 3 years of the 5 years preceding the appointment, and also a firm or partnership whose individual members are equally qualified as such can hold the position of company secretary.
All right, great. Now, another provision of the code is that subject to the provisions of extant laws, the appointment and removal of the company secretary should be a matter for the board. Now, why is this provision necessary?
And the provision is necessary because, first and foremost, the directors of the company are mandated by provision of Section 332 of the Corporate and Allied Matters Act 2020 to ensure that a person that is going to be appointed as the company secretary has the requisite knowledge, experience, and skills to discharge that function. Then also, Section 333 of the Company and Allied Matters Act provides that the company secretary is to be appointed and removed by the director and provides the process for such removal. So it only follows that the code should be in consonance with the provisions of the law by providing for same.
Okay. Now, what do you advise a company secretary should do if he or she is working with a difficult chairman who is dominant and would not allow any dissenting opinion from any quarter?
Well, first, the company secretary should state the position of the law to the chairman, such as the provision of Section 265 of CAMA that provides for the duties and responsibilities of the chairman, which includes that the chairman should ensure that all questions raised at the meetings are promptly decided upon and should always act in the interest of the company. Also, Principle 2 of the code equally provides that no individual or group of persons should dominate the board's decision-making process. And also, the Principle 3 of the code equally provides that the chairman is responsible for providing leadership and guidance to the company and the board, to enhance the participation of all directors at meetings. So after that, I would calmly advise that the company secretary should advise that the chairman should allow such opinions to be heard. And then the record his or her positions in the minutes. And equally, when decisions are reached on that matter, ensure that you record the position of the chairman clearly. And the company secretary should be calm, patient, to avoid getting into some sort of argument with the chairman, and equally ensure that order is maintained at the meeting. So that is what I advise the company secretary to do in such a situation.
All right. So will you say ICSAN training empowers company secretaries to discharge their responsibilities effectively?
Absolutely. I think the ICSAN training is vast, it's comprehensive, advanced, and it's in accordance with international best practices in companies' secretarial functions. And so it's more than adequate because it cuts across different disciplines such as accounting, communication, financial management, company and corporate administration, and much more. So I think it's more than adequate to equip the chartered secretary to fulfill its roles and functions.
So would you suggest Nigeria should emulate a country like India, where only chartered secretaries are eligible to practice as company secretaries?
Yes, this position is advisable, really, because when you consider the training of the chartered secretary, you will know that the chartered secretary is most equipped to function as the company secretary of any organization, be it a private, a public, or non-profit organization. But the provisions of the law in place in Nigeria as of now is such that, aside from the chartered secretary, other professionals such as the legal practitioner, the accountant, and persons that have previously held positions as company secretary of a public company within a specified time, and firms and partnership are equally, capable and empowered to act as qualified to act as the company secretary.
Hello?
I think she has made that point.
Okay, yeah, I think she's made the point already. We must say a very big thank you to Ms. AKUDAZIE NDUGBU, ACIS, of course, Company Secretary, Hivo System Nigeria Limited. Okay, all right, Mr. Ketefe, we have an announcement.
Thank you very much for me. The announcement we have for our listeners today is on the ICSAN Presidential Press Rally that is holding today. As a matter of fact, it's about to hold as I'm talking now. This is to inform ICSAN members and the members of the public generally that the ICSAN Presidential Press Rally is holding at the ICSAN Secretariat today, August 9th, 2023 at 10:30 a.m. prompt. This presidential rally is a forum at which the Institute bears its mind on diverse trendy issues of national importance. So the new president and chairman of the Governing Council of the Institute, Mrs. Fumi Ekundayo, FCIS, we engage some pertinent issues. We answer some questions on certain trendy issues in our national life with a few to provide policy guidelines and directives in line with the Institute's status as a leading role on corporate governance and public administration in Nigeria. So members of the public, members of the Institute, you are encouraged to join online. The link to join is already on the Institute social media platforms like the Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So you can join, and those who cannot join can be confident that by looking out for the Institute's opinion in the leading national dailies tomorrow, You will find information, you will find the news as regards this press rally tomorrow in all the leading national dailies in Nigeria. So thank you for listening. Have a pleasant day.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Kayode Ketefe, FCIS, Head of Research, ICSAN. And that's how we wrap it up this morning on Corporate Governance Platform, brought to you by the Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria, ICSAN. Return again next week, Wednesday, 10:15 a.m., right here on Equator 9.7 FM. I am Funmi Omoburi. Enjoy the rest of the day.
The world is constantly evolving.